So we really are finally at the resolution of the young Dolph murder case. And it seems like most of the people that have been alleged to have been involved in the hit went down and crashed and burned. Now, some people that were accused of being involved in the hit didn't face no consequences. Hernandez Govan, he beat his charges of being connected to the case. He's out here a free man. I've done an interview with him. He's done interviews on Vlad, Adam, all that kind of stuff. But now we finally got the sentencing for one of the last people that was allegedly involved in the young Dolph hit. And this one kind of has some people divided, okay? Because he actually took a plea deal in the case. He allegedly actually gave up the goods just as far as identifying himself and Justin Johnson, aka Straight Drop, as the shooters. And this is one of those situations where it's like, you would have thought that cooperating or taking a plea would have worked out a little bit better. But unfortunately, Cornelius Smith was just too deep in the streets to really get a good deal. So let's hear what the news had to say about his sentencing, and then I'm going to break down you some of the backstory about how we got to this point.
Young Dolph's murder has finally come to a close tonight. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Stephanie Skurlock.
And I'm Greg Hurst. Cornelius Smith, the last suspect in the Memphis rapper's murder, admitted to his guilt and received his sentence today. Our Quamita Wilborn has details on the plea agreement.
Are you entering this plea freely and voluntarily? Yes, Mom.
Judgment has come for Cornelius Smith. He is the final defendant charged in the murder case of Adolph Thornton Jr., better known as Young Dolph. And on Friday morning, he accepted a plea deal. Instead of the first-degree murder charge initially placed against him, Smith pled guilty to the lesser charge of second-degree murder. All other charges against him were dismissed. Smith will serve 20 years at 100%, and his attorney, Michael Scholl, says this does include time served, which means Smith, who is 36 years old, could be released by his early 50s. The beloved Memphis rapper was gunned down on November 17, 2021, while visiting a cookie shop in South Memphis.
Basically, from his arrest forward, Mr. Smith has taken responsibility for this, admitted his involvement.
Smith has been a key witness in the trials of his former co-defendants. On the stand, he has detailed how he and now convicted murderer Justin Johnson planned and carried out the hit. Johnson is serving a life sentence with an additional 35 years. Hernandez Govan, who was accused of being the person behind the hit, was acquitted of all charges. Scholl says that before a deal was ever put on the table, Smith made it clear he wanted to cooperate within a week of his arrest.
Has been extremely remorseful for what's gone on and just trying to do whatever he could do to make things a little bit right. It's important to remember Dolph. He was a cherished member of this community, and I know we all refer to him as a rapper, but he was a family man.
Deputy District Attorney Paul Hagerman says Dolph's family is pleased with the outcome.
They understood and they were in the loop all along that to solve complex cases like this, oftentimes you need somebody to cooperate. We struck a balance of something that's firm and something that gave them a measure of justice that they wanted.
Reporting for your news leader from...
So it's an interesting case. So I want to rewind back and just give you a little bit of backstory about exactly why the murder of young Dolph went down in the way that it did. So apparently this is one of the big reasons why this whole thing went down, and it's Hernandez Govan that's breaking it down, okay? There's been a lot of speculation as to why Dolph was killed, and, you know, there's been a long-running beef between young Dolph and Yo Gotti, obviously, in the streets of Memphis. That's a big deal. But apparently, one of the big reasons why the hit might have actually gone down is because of one disrespectful encounter with Key Glock, who was one of Young Dolph's artists and one of his right-hand men. They released mixtapes together. And apparently, Key Glock ran into Yo Gotti's brother, Big Jook, on a plane and apparently spat in his face. And this is actually the circumstances that ended up leading to the murder.
And I hate to see it, you know, or whatever, but, you know, it is what it is. But he spit in Jook's face.
So Glock and Jook on the same plane in November?
In November, same month, Dolph get killed.
This before or after?
Before.
Okay.
Dolph get killed, and you know, some things were said, you know, and to be fair, Jook started it. You know, Jook said something to Glock first. He said something to Glock, and Glock said something back, and, you know, they was sort of face to face. And, you know, Glock surprised Jook and probably whoever else was in close proximity of this situation. And I hate to see it, you know, or whatever, but, you know, it is what it is. But he spit in Juke's face.
Oh, shut the front door.
Yeah, he spit in Juke's face, you know, and this shit in black and white. It's in our discovery, you know. Yeah, they know about it. The whole city know about it.
Hold on. Key Glock spit in Yo Gotti brother face.
He did that. He caught Juke off guard. Juke, you know, he did that. And it ain't, you know what I'm saying? Of course, you know, I would never say nothing to try to make Juke, you know what I'm saying, look bad or whatever, but it, you know, it's the truth. I mean, if I'm arguing with a nigga and, you know what I'm saying, and in my heart I feel like I'm him and I don't know what he thinking, technically a nigga could spit in my face.
So hold on, let me ask you, because it's a difference between like we talking and then some spit accidentally come out my mouth.
No. Glock did the unthinkable.
Intentional.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he did that. Yeah, Glock.
But that's crazy, right? That probably gives quite a lot of motive for Big Juke. Allegedly, who was the real mastermind. Big Juke ended up getting killed before he could really be part of any trial. But that kind of does give Big Juke some pretty strong motivation to go and kill Key Glock's right-hand man. Now, during the trial, prosecutors would actually allege that Yo Gotti's brother Big Juke was actually the very person who put the hit on young Dolph's head. So now we got the context, we can understand.
Government says Yo Gotti's late brother Big Juke put out a $100,000 hit for whoever killed young Dolph, then met with the two suspects before the shooting. Here's a live look inside the courtroom as opening statements continue. The two first witnesses will be family members. Rosalind Freeman breaks down the biggest question that remains. Which suspects will we expect to see in court today?
Multiple sources told Fox 13 Jeremy Pierre that Justin Johnson will be the first to stand trial today. Johnson is one of the alleged shooters who shot and killed Dolph in November 2021. He was one of the 4 people charged in that case. The others are Cornelius Smith, the second accused shooter, along with alleged mastermind Hernandez Govan. A 4th person, Jamarcus Johnson, took a plea deal last year, admitting to being an accessory after the fact. We do know that the jury has already been selected and brought in from Nashville for this trial. Fox 13 will be here every step of the way. There will be live coverage, and we will continue to keep you updated. Live from downtown, Rosalind Freeman, Fox 13 News.
So during Cornelius Smith's testimony, okay, he would basically, as we saw at that original clip, have remorse, and he would want to help the state try and, you know, get justice for Dolph. So in his testimony, he would identify both himself and Justin Johnson, aka Straight Drop, the guy that went down in flames, as the, you know, the main person. He would identify himself and Justin as the shooters. Give up the goods.
Say y'all?
Yeah, it is us right there.
Stop it here.
It's me.
Can you stop it? All right. We're gonna back up. I wanted to, back up a little bit. All right. First guy out of the car, who's that?
It's me.
That's you? Which one of the guns do you have?
I got the little Draco stab gun.
Okay, that's that semi-automatic weapon, is that right?
Yeah.
You ever shot that thing before?
Nah, I ain't never shot one of them.
Okay. You can proceed, Iris. That's your Gap hoodie, is that right?
Yeah, that's me.
That's you. Who are you shooting at?
No.
All right, now back it up again, Miss Iris, if you would. Back it up for Justin getting out of the car. All right, who's the second person here that got out of the driver's side?
It's Justin.
He's got the smaller handgun, is that right?
Yeah, the bad baseball hat, bad pro baseball hat.
You're firing this crazy thing. What you see? What are you feeling?
I won't feel nothing at the time, but I ain't gonna even let it. I won't feel nothing at the time. I was just,
trying to get some money. Bet you probably would have wasted on oxycodone and ecstasy.
So it's really sad, man. He's just saying, look, I just did what I didn't even think about. I was just trying to get some money. There was a $100,000 hit, apparently from Big Juk, and that's why he did it. So he was the first person bailing out the car, firing the shots, and then he decided to tell. He apparently felt remorseful. He decided to tell. So Straight Drop, that's running up behind him, seemed to be like the less proficient killer in this case. Straight Drop ended up getting life in prison plus 35 additional years. And the man who was front line in the quarterback of the drill, he ends up only getting 20. How insane is that? That you can be the ringleader of a drill. A guy's just following behind you, busting a few shots in the background. You decide to tell, and he gets life plus 35 years, and you get 20. It is insanity, but that's how the justice system works, okay? But Straight Drop, he been posting on social media from behind bars ever since this went down. He posted a new video from prison, showing off his prison fit. Got the new watch on, new chain. He looking like he at home. He don't look like he in prison. At the end of the day, he just in there forever, okay? So, interestingly enough, following the recent sentence of Cornelius Smith, Young Dolph's fiance actually reacted to the news of him getting 20 years. He said, may God have his entire way with him and every other coward involved. 20 years plus time served will never be enough. Okay? And it's crazy. For him to really frontline the drill like that and get 20 years is just insanity. Now, a few weeks before the sentencing, there was a picture that was posted online that basically proved that the streets of Memphis are still divided. There was a picture at one of Young Dolph's murals in Memphis, and there's a bunch of young YNs, as they call them, pointing guns and Glocks with switches on them at Dolph's mural. Okay, very disrespectful. They said on every odd block trying to clear the street. So, yeah, these kids are still on nonsense, right? It says they just gained beef with 4 different hoods because of this one post. People saying, I'm sure they were already ops. They is, as far as I'm saying, older guys getting involved. If you noticed, Paper Route Empire already killed Trula, Big Homie, and Juk. Now the attention going to go towards the YNs. So focusing on the YNs is whether you lose that. The YN going to be a YN quick to throw their life away. Best thing to do in this situation is let the streets clean themselves. Okay, saying the spirit of Dolph going to curse them little boys. Saying Dolph looked disappointed in them. Okay. It's an LOL, pointing a gun at a deceased person you didn't even kill is crazy kind of desperation and just sad. That being said, long live Dolph. Okay. So I do actually think it is pretty reprehensible that you can actually go frontline on a drill and lead the drill and murder somebody and then snitch. 20 years, considering how vicious that attack was, he's lucky to have done all that on camera and got 20 years. They're saying he's got to serve 100% of it, but he's getting time served. But the other guy that was trailing off behind, but he was making more songs about it, he got life plus 35 years. Tell me how that's fair. I don't know. Okay. But let me know what you thought of that. I just did a David video, got demonetized. Need to edit it. So yeah, I'll let you guys know when I've got that video. And yeah, I'll be back with some more content, man. Just super not feeling it today, but I'm still here. Okay. I do have a few other topics that I want to get to. Hopefully this video comes out soon. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Appreciate you watching. Peace.